Well, shit, I'm back checking the mic, making sure it's on. Anyways, this is one of my craziest stories ever. I've told it before, but I'm telling a different way on here. So, basically, anytime that I went to rehab, I planned on not staying clean. There was kind of a body broker situation. It's actually an excellent movie. It's a true fact. There are people that broker bodies, as the title says, and they get a percentage. They get a cut at a sending somebody to rehab, and oftentimes that entails them giving the person that goes to rehab that it's just charged their insurance a cut of that money. I went to a good number of rehabs, but anyway, usually when the connection fell apart. So as long as I had a connection and I was able to sell, and I had a connection that nobody else had, I was able to make all the money I needed to, surf my way couch to couch and have both my pockets filled. But as much money as I ever had, I had no credit. You know what I mean? And you look at it for what it was. I remember one time we're in a 400 square foot guest house, not meant to live in. It was five of us living in there. The two people that lived in there, me and my buddy Chris, and then their kid. Yeah, it was awful. I mean, we were underage ourselves. I mean, but look back at it now, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like they were, like I'm old enough now to know a lot of right and from wrong. As much as I might have thought that I was mature back then, I wasn't. But anyhow, we had over $10,000 between the two of us, and I remember we slept on the couch. Him with his head on one end, me with my head on the other end, and we tried not to, let our legs touch in the middle, 'cause that'd be weird. So, but it was a long couch. But we had over $10,000 between the two of us. And we're sleeping on a couch in a 400 square foot guest house. As good as it ever seemed, it never really was. So, basically, I went to this rehab in Pennsylvania. It's the worst rehab I've been to, and I've been to a handful by far. I've got stories about that place. Oh my God, I did. Ironically, I did some of the purest dope I've ever done in my life in that rehab. That's some true shit. Spent my 20s in federal prison. Not advocating this stuff. Definitely not, especially nowadays. The drugs that we did back then don't exist anymore. Okay, if you think that you can just go out and do heroin today, first off, that doesn't exist. It's not there anymore. It's as dead as the 44 friends that I've had that have passed away. But second off, it ain't no existence. But anyhow, I met somebody in there, a fella, we'll call him Tony. Tony was missing his two front teeth, but it didn't stop him from smiling. He's always smiling. He's always happy. And we became friends. There were a lot of people in that rehab just, I didn't like it. And where I talked where I had that babysitter from Tennessee when I was little, nobody in Roanoke talks like I do, but where I talk different, I was a little bit outcast, from some of the typical people in there. But Tony, apparently his cousin was the man, like the dude. And we had conversations about that. And in the rehab, I had a conversation with him, and he basically told me, for a very cheap price, I believe it was 70 a gram. I don't believe it was 70 a gram. For entertainment purposes, I believe it. Anyway, raw dope. He lived in Baltimore. Baltimore is the heroin capital of the world in terms of consumption and dealing. So, this is a fact. Population might have inflated or decreased since I've last looked this up, but there are roughly 600,000 people that live in the city of Baltimore. Out of those 600,000 people, 60,000, 10%, are daily users of heroin. 1 in 10 people is a daily user of heroin. That's insane. Okay, so 60,000 people use heroin on a daily basis, and another 5%, 30,000, use it once or more a month. So, 90,000 people in a city of 600,000 people use heroin pretty regularly. Okay, so yeah, people drive from all over the place to Baltimore because of cheap dope. So basically, in the rehab, instead of listening to what they're saying and everything else, rehab just a place for you to dry out, and they educate you a little bit on how the brain works and everything else. And they introduce you to NA and AA. It's not. Detox is a more necessary means to it, but like in terms of getting clean, it's kind of a do you want it, do you not want it type of deal. Now, I talked to him about meeting him once I got out. Now, when I got out, I was living in this halfway house in a place called York, Pennsylvania. It is the recovery capital of the country. They have more halfway houses in York, Pennsylvania than they have anywhere else. I believe possibly in the world. There's a lot of halfway houses there. But anyway, so that's when I first started seeing Tony. And my other friend, who I've talked about, I call him Lenny. Me and him, I told him about it and everything else. I ended up back in Roanoke. I've been bringing stuff back there for a little bit. We made an idea, we were going to make a trip up there. Now back then, driving to Durango, and we take that Durango up there. We get there too late. Apparently in Baltimore, once it gets dark, they quit selling dope. They sell rock, but they don't sell dope. Okay, they got different slang too. We didn't know that slang, being where we're from. See, where we're from, they don't have corner dealers. They have house dealers. There's a couple corners that sell dope. I mean, they sell crack. They don't sell dope, but it's more house dealers and mobile dealers. I mean, that's more what it is where I'm at. Please shut that shit down real fucking quick, okay? So we go up there. We get there too late, and we call him, and he tells us, "No, too late. Don't have to wait till I get off work tomorrow." Shit. Well, we've got like pretty much about a set amount of money to get a set amount of shit. See, with him, not only basically the first time that I met him, I gave him a certain amount of money. I'm not going to speak on the exact numbers, just because. But I gave him a set amount of money, and I told him when he brought it back, I would give him X amount of money. The amount of money that I gave him when he brought back the amount of money I sent him with to go meet his cousin and bring it back was roughly, it was a little less than 50%. So let's say I would have given him $1,000, and he brought it back. When he brought it back, I gave him $500 for doing it. And when I originally gave him the money to go get it, I gave him a little speech. I said, "Listen, right now, you can take my money and never see me again, turn your phone off. That'd be the end of it. You can bring it back, and I will give you this amount of money for doing it." And I said, "And I will do that every 1 week to 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks guaranteed, be likely every week." So basically, the amount of money you could take and leave right now, you can make double that amount in the next 4 weeks if you don't just take all of my money right now. And this could be a regular thing. You can make that amount of money every week, every 2 weeks, continually. And he brought it back, did right by me. So me and my buddy went down there, Lenny. It was too late. So we slept on the side of North fucking Avenue. If you know where North Avenue is in Baltimore, that's like Harlem, okay? We slept on the side of North Avenue with seat recliners Durango overnight, okay? I mean, we're white as hell, sleeping in a Durango on North Avenue, looking crazy as hell too. The guy whose house we parked across came out the next morning, knocked on the window, and he's like, "Hey, what are y'all doing out here?" Looking at us like, "All crackers doing in front of my house." And, we're like, we just getting some sleep, man. They won't pay for it. "Oh, okay, we just checking, seeing what we're somebody." And we took off after that. But anyway, we had to wait till he got off work. He had a job, repairing stoplights. He was making $15 an hour, which back then that's pretty good money. I mean, it's like 15 years ago, I guess. So 15 years ago, $15 an hour is pretty good money. It's pretty solid money. Today it's not as much. 15 years ago it was. And we had to wait for him to get off work from that. But we're drug addicts, we want to get high. So we go around driving, looking around, and we don't know the lingo. So we end up driving up. We find this woman. She was drunk. And she said, "What y'all looking for?" I said, "We're looking for Ron." She says, "You looking for Reddy?" And I said, "Well, if Reddy's Ron, then yeah, we're looking for Reddy." I don't know what Reddy is. Shit, what's the fucking Reddy? She gets in the car, and she goes up. We find about 3-4 different people. She hollers, "Y'all got Reddy?" "No, we got the other though. You want the other?" "Nah, we looking for Reddy." Well, she ends up picking up her sister, who is a pregnant prostitute. And I'm not talking pregnant like she got a little bump. I'm talking about this bitch is full on pregnant. She's pregnant. Okay, I was like, "Oh my God, what are we doing here? What the hell am I doing with my life?" Okay, and how old I was at the time, being as young as I was, even then I was thinking, what the fuck am I doing right now? So we drive around with her sister, and she takes us to a person who gets us ready. They come back with the bags. And in these bags, there's a couple little, these pretty good sized cubes. And I'm thinking, shit, for that amount of money? Open it up, and I'm like, wait a minute. and I take a little bite off it. I'm like, it's just fucking crack. What the fuck is this? I told you I want to run. You want a red? You said you want a red. Oh my god. So that's what Ready is. Ready apparently is Ready Rock. We did not know that shit, so that was unfortunate. And anyway, we end up driving somewhere else. She says she can get it for us. She starts walking. The pregnant prostitute's sister starts walking down a one-way street. We can't go down a one-way street. Buddy Lenny hops out of the car, goes chasing after her. Got her drunk sister in the back. You ain't gonna do nothing, my sister. Leave her alone. He gets out of the car. We drive down the one-way street. He ends up, snatching the money back off her, and we get the fuck on out of there. And then we end up meeting up with the guy, Tony. And we end up getting our shit, telling him. He's like, man, why y'all do that? I'm like, shit, we sitting here all day. What was we supposed to do? So there's a big fucking problem that, we hadn't really thought out too well. And it's amazing to me, that didn't think this out, because I usually think things out a lot more. The money that we spent was basically the gas money to get home. The amount of money that I had to give Tony was the amount of money to get what we were getting, along with the cut. The cut they sell is quinine, which I'm pretty sure is illegal, along with the little bags and the whole kit. It's a whole kit of cut, base, and a raw for us to do our own shit, ourselves. But we don't have the gas money. So we got a car full of dope, and we don't have enough gas money to get home. Of course, I tried calling my mom. She's like, nah, you want to go out there, basically, you want to do hood rat stuff with your friends, you go do hood rat stuff with your friends. That's what you're going to do. What the fuck's wrong with you? Call me and ask me for money. You're going to be out there doing this shit. I ain't going to support that. I went, oh, fuck. And we're low on gas. So, I drive up to a gas station in the middle of Baltimore, and we start filling up the car, Back then, you could fill up the car, a lot of the time, not prepay, and I saw the tin. Look, he must have known something. And sure enough, I plug it, jump back in the car, we drive off, I see him run out. And then as we're driving one way, we see the cops driving another way towards the gas station. We get on the interstate, haul ass, car full of dope, keep in mind. Then we drive a good bit. It's a fucking Durango, okay? It's 5.5 hours exactly each way from where I was living to Baltimore, and 5.5 hours back. Durango's gas guzzler, so we run out of gas again, and we're getting close to running out of gas. We pull into, I think it was a Sheetz, and do another drive off. My dumb ass goes the wrong way. Instead of going to the interstate, I go down the other way, and it's going to this backwoods ass country place. I'm like, oh shit! So I turn around, I get back on the interstate. Somehow we get away. And then we get close. We're so close, but not that close. We're like 30, 45 minutes out, and we're on shit low of gas. And start going around the back of the car, and I've got this suitcase in the back of the car with some stuff, and I'm going through it looking for some cigarettes. I need to smoke, because I was smoking a whole bunch back then. It's no good for you. Don't do that anymore. But end up going through and I find a $10 bill. Shit, that $10 bill was just enough to get back. Man, I don't know how the fuck we did not get arrested that night. But for all the times that shit happened, and I didn't get arrested, it all comes back. It all circles back in one cosmic fucking loop. And it's kind of wild how that works out. But anyway, this is one of my wilder stories when you really look at the whole thing about what happened. It's pretty insane. Can't really do it justice and explain it as much as crazy as the actual situation was. It was pretty wild. Anyway, if you liked the video, press the like button. If not, eat shit.